The scene is set in a closed-door meeting in the Odyssey Theater, not necessarily in Mr. Williams' office, but in an area where he knows that he is secure. A particular friend has found his way into the establishment to peer on him. This is happening most likely in the casino then, or he was already playing the game as Mr. Williams and Mr. Crown and Christian meet Mr. Williams' associate. The scene begins now. So, Mr. Christian, I do hope you can take the time out of the business schedule. Please go ahead and close the doors to the casino, if you would.
Roger for Mr. Williams. So we'll move off and into shut and locked doors.
My friend, it is very good to see you this evening. Please have a seat. What would you like me to call you?
Just call me, please. Just call me Dim. That would work well.
Excellent, Dim. The meeting I have called you here for is something of very importance, and it is a matter of closed doors. And that since our clan has you on retainer, and you are working with us, and we pay you for all your great services, I'm willing to throw in some elder vate for your help in this situation. Does this sound like a good payment for the task that we're going to ask of you?
Of course, so far my interactions with the Ventrue have been most pleasant, and I look forward to our mutually beneficial experiences going forward.
Very good. The task is simple. I need you to eliminate the mayor of the city.
Now, is the mayor mortal, or?
He is not immortal. We are believed in connections with the information that we have been told by Mr. Kennedy and others within our employ that he is influenced by Clan Giovanni.
Ah, very good. That is, if it is simply immortal, that should not prove too exceedingly difficult. Is there any other stipulations you have? Would you like a public, private? Would you wish someone else to take the responsibility for it?
As far as we would like the responsibility to be placed on this hunter organization or a human organization, make it a kind problem, not a kindred problem. I want it to look like humans did this to him, and not kindred. As far as him, he does have a secretary or a lady that works for him by the name of, I believe it's Calliope or something like that. It's Clan Toreador. I wish to her to have no harm fall upon her head.
Very good. I will extend my efforts to assure that no harm comes to Miss Calliope. And the mayor himself will die. What is the timeline you're hoping here? If you let me have my own, there tends to be a little easier for both parties.
As far as the timeline goes, take your time to get this job completed. We are also taking the balls rolling to try to find his organization, his patterns, his movements, and we are hoping to have Mr. Christian put in his place as the new mayor of the city.
Oh, excellent then. I don't think there's anything past that. Do you wish to communicate with me in the interim? I will not be implicated in the crime.
No, you will not. You take any steps you need to not implicate yourself, because that is the last thing. And even if I do have any ears that are listening to this walls, I'm sure they're close-knit associates, and if they try to do anything against me, they're going to end up finding themselves in a worse situation than they thought originally.
That tends to be the problem when you cross Ventrue. That makes perfect sense. We'll see. We'll see where this takes us. I will begin upon this immediately. Do you have any suggestions, recommendations, proclivities, anything along those lines?
Mr. Crown, I turn that to your particular expertise. I'm not one to murder somebody.
As of suggestions on how to do it, I really don't care. As long as no blame returns to yourself or to the Ventrue, or definitely not to the Lady Orchid. We want to make sure that our hands are clean in this dirty business.
Shouldn't be a problem at all. Does he frequent prostitutes? Do you know of any vices I could take advantage of?
I have no information on the target as of yet.
Oh, very good. Will there be
So
somebody supplying the information? Do you expect me to do my own or a ghoul or I do not have a ghoul in this town. I would appreciate if I was allowed the right to have a ghoul. You don't know how Camarilla laws work.
that, of course, you can take up with Mr. Williams. Um, but yes, as far as getting intelligence, I will of course be getting some of my own, doing some of my own investigations. I'll probably mirror him the next few nights, see if what I can learn, and
Wonderful.
I will pass my information along.
Wonderful. This shouldn't prove difficult. Um, Great. And I think that's about it. Is there anything that you may set your... So we're going to set your expectations right now. I'm going to kill this person. I'm going to either make it look like a home invasion, or I'm going to make it look like a terrorist act, or I'm going to make it look like a political assassination. Those are usually the three best. Or I could honestly just cause him to get sick and die. That also can function. If of those methods, is there one particularly you wish me not to consider?
I have no feelings on the matter. Whatever you think is best. Political assassination, terrorist attacks will go over a little bit better in the city, especially with the fact that there already has been an attack on the oil rig and the humans have been responding in that area. And I'm sure if you need more information, Christian is also going to be, since he is my ghoul, he will be following and talking with the mayor over the course of a few days, so get in touch with him. And I'm certain if there's anybody else who, if any were to fall upon this meeting, they would probably have enough courtesy or respect to try to find me or Mr. Crown to try to help us in this matter so that we can have a betterment of the entire city.
Excellent. I'm going to make sure that you all get some burner cell phones, which I'll give to each of you, so I can communicate with you. I do not want to talk to your personal cell phones. I don't care to know your personal cell phone numbers. They'll have at least one phone number stored into them. You can contact me in that direction if you ever need to speak with me. From this point onwards, I will pick all locations of our meetings. That is only my own form of protecting myself, because I'm quite vulnerable. I have business partners. I don't truly ever have allies, unfortunately. That is just the nature of my work. I've been doing it for a little bit of time. I understand how it works. Other than that, I need something to ensure that should worst come to worst and a finger just get pointed at me, I need someone to take the fall for me in regards to yourself. Is there a clan that you think you could pin this on if it ever comes to light that it was potentially the work of a kindred? Because you always look to the most obvious enemies first. Who are his most obvious enemies in the worlds of the kindred or the Giovanni at the moment?
Anarchs are always a good choice in this city. They've always been a decent blame. Uh, Bruja maybe, but I would say the Anarchs because they have more than just one clan involved with their organization. So yes, I would say if there were any kindred groups to put this on, it would be the Anarchs.
Excellent. Now, and very importantly, we must begin setting the groundwork for relieving yourselves of any potential blame. Have you considered a pawn or someone to sacrifice that? Usually it's better that if you supply a guard, that guard gets killed or something like that, or something that you lose in this person's death. Of course, something less than the value of their dying would grant you. What I personally mean is, for example, let us say we were attempting to turn over a small Arab emirate, and let's say you were the United States. What you would really want to do is you want to overthrow that particular sultan or sheikh. You would make sure that there's some investment of yours that was lost in the process, so you can wipe your hands of the blame, say, look how much I have lost in this as well. I recommend you put something in place like that immediately or soon. So, for example, if you have a company that could sink or go under at his death or something like that, something that would probably cause you some form of harm, would allow you to say, hey, we would never have benefited from this, and you'd have something to point to. Something that would absolve you, effectively. Absolve you of, what's the term? ¿Qué es la palabra en inglés? Something that would absolve you of reason. That's it. That is it. This is not my first language. Apologize.
Then we will also try to make sure that the Anox would be a good choice to have fall as far as business goes. I think if we have our, well, what's one of our biggest ventures right now that we're doing that we could stand to lose? I'm not sure. We'll have to do some more research in there, and we will try to contact you again. I think our time is drawing a little bit close to what we need to have, so I think we should be moving on.
I'll move on this. So I will make sure you have your burner cell phones. You should have them before the end of the evening. I'll pay a clerk to come drop them off. From that point on, you can call me whenever you feel like, but if you need to meet in person, that's going to be more difficult to be arranged. Past that, I will of course need feeding grounds for the current time I'm in your town, as well as we will need to solidify the cost. This is immortal, so I'm not. Are there any Are there any kindred bodyguards that they'll have, or is that something I should expect or fear?
It might be something that you can expect. It could be something that's there. Again, we want to look at more information and gather this, and this is what we're going to try to achieve within a reasonable amount of time. But I do feel like the world is closing in on us a little bit, so I think we should disperse with our business and take off this night.
I'm making an Auspex out of character. I'm making an Auspex 3 heightened senses hearing roll. Let me see if I remember how that works. I'm going aura perception. Does that allow me to break obfuscation?
You have to detect me first.
Okay. Heightened senses hearing. Would that help with I have heightened senses as a merit, as well as Auspex 1 has heightened senses in there as well.
Let's see.
What should I roll?
Do you...
Perception and...
Let me bring up us.
The roll typically.
Thank you, sir. That's what I was looking for. Perception, empathy.
And you need to have at least a minimum of 2 successes to detect an aura.
Okay. I will roll right now. And heightened senses gives me something else too. The merit heightened senses. Yep. I'm using. What does the merit heightened senses give me? I'm sorry. I really should have memorized a little bit more on my sheet. It just took forever to get this approved.
You're fine.
Acute senses. That's it. Acute senses. It reduces all difficulties by 2.
When a vampire tries to use her heightened perception to notice a kindred hidden with obfuscate, she detects the subject's presence if her Auspex rating is higher than the obfuscate, and if she succeeds a perception plus awareness roll, difficulty equals 7 minus the dots in which her Auspex exceeds the obfuscate. Conversely, if the target's obfuscate outranks the Auspex, he remains undiscovered. If the two are equal, both characters make a resisted roll of Perception plus awareness for the Auspex person versus manipulation and subterfuge for the obfuscate user.
Auspex 3.
Difficult,
Auspex 3
difficulty roll is 7 for both.
All right, so my Auspex is 3 because of heightened senses hearing. That reduces the difficulty by 2, so the difficulty will be 5 for me.
Okay.
I have awareness 4, perception 4.
Okay.
It's 1 botch and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
All right, let's see. And how do you... I get manipulation plus subterfuge, so I get 6 dice.
One success for you.
I get 2 successes.
Does the 1 subtract?
1 success.
Okay. So I hear you.
Yeah, you detect me.
Detect you. There's somebody else in this room, Mr. Williams.
I figured as much. Please show yourself, and let's not make this any more awkward than it needs to be. I promise I won't let anybody eat you. You're still in my Elysium. I will keep you safe.
Hello, Mr. Williams.
Oh, Raz. What have you stumbled into?
I was just looking for a game of cards.
Why do you gotta stumble into my business meetings of such a variety? Well, for you to keep your tongue and not end up being on my hit list, you are going to have to help us, Raz, and keep this off of your information network.
I would appreciate that. Actually, if you assisted me, that would be quite nice.
Well, if you were looking for a clan to blame, an interesting one might be Clan Tremere. Giovanni is currently the prince's answer to any thaumaturgy.
Excellent. And this is why I really appreciate having the Nosferatu around all the time. If you look for one, you'll always find one. That's what I've learned.
Especially in this city.
Well then,
So,
here's...
all right then, gentlemen, we need to wrap this up here. So, Raz and Christian, you will work with my friend and get him the information he needs to help us make this event. Is that understood?
Indeed.
Quite clear.
You have a deadline?
No, but we should be wrapping this up. I don't like leaving this casino closed for an unclosed amount of time. It could draw up some suspicions with kindred.
All right then. I will see myself out first. If you all have a pleasant evening, I will probably enjoy a few games of craps and then see myself on home, or to one of a couple homes I own. Hey, please don't follow me.
Excellent. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. The scene ends.